My name's Jim Barr. I'm from Abriachan Forest Trust. I live in Abriachan and have done for approximately 40 years. The Forest Trust came into being, we'll say 26 years ago, and I was one of the founding members of the Forest Trust.
So my name is Mairi McFadyen, and I am a voluntary trustee for the Abriachan Forest Trust, and I have been for about 2 years or so. I live locally, and I suppose my relationship to the trust is someone who has come to love this place, and particularly my daughter finished 2 years of forest school, which was just the most amazing experience for her and all of us.
The whole drive for Abriachan Forest to become into community ownership was a question of outrage. It was outrage at a failed consultation which the Forestry Commission carried out at the time. They were selling off unproductive bits of forestry that didn't fit their portfolio, and they were consulted with the local communities as to which communities felt the forests adjacent to them were important and would wish to stay in public ownership. Unfortunately, the whole process between Highland Council and the Forestry Commission failed to register the fact that we had significant interest in keeping the forest in community ownership, we being the 40 odd adult residents of Abriachan at that time. And we found out about Abriachan Forest being under threat of being sold off was when it appeared in for sale by one of these glossy magazines that come out, and it turned out that it had been put on the market. We had not been informed, and the consultation process of 3.5 years previously had disappeared with all the safeguards that we asked for regarding access to the forest. Hence, we started raising the issue with the Forest Commission, and they basically at that time said, well, we're too far along the road now, it's up for sale, and it's our intention to continue selling it. So the first year, when we had a meeting and decided that locally we weren't happy with this, and we decided that we would start politically lobbying to find out why the consultation process had failed and why we were no longer assured that we would still have access to the forest longer term. And consequently, it was a round of your local MP, the Scottish office as it was at that time, and as many letters as we could send off, and as many people as we could get to listen. And eventually we did get some satisfaction, because the Scottish office advised forestry that if they were selling it, then they must consider the local community as a potential buyer. Then it became a question of where does the money come from to do this, what many funding applications that we put off at that time to find people who to provide support for a capital purchase, as it was. And we eventually lined up enough money to become credible, and the Forestry Commission had to work with us to find a way of concluding the sale. But that was 3 years on from the first bit of action.
So the Forest Trust really exists to make this place accessible to the people who live here, to the people who love to come and visit. So that's through a network of beautiful trails, of bike trails, is to look after the land and try and restore it bringing back native species and really creating an environment for biodiversity to grow and thrive. It's in part about creating employment for local people, and also for education. So there's the forest nursery for early years education, which is what they're really focused on at the moment, but also for lots of visiting groups, whether that be young adults or people who've experienced care services, or just all walks of life, to be able to come and enjoy a bit of this place, this corner of the universe.
And if you ask me, what am I pleased about after 26, 27 years, I would say we've stayed pretty well rock solid on what our principles and our aims and objectives were at the outset. And that takes a bit of doing. None of it is easy to achieve. I think amenity and recreation largely takes care of itself. Apart from the money you have to find to spend on infrastructure, like improving the paths and making them ever more accessible, and that's that sort of stuff. I think the local employment is always hard to manage as well, but it's worth it if it's when you see it benefiting people and the community.
So I think community ownership is actually really important, and quite almost subtly profound, in a sense that, I've only been here for a few years, but there are people who've grown up knowing that this land belongs to them. And I think that kind of psychological shift is really important, because it fosters a relationship of belonging and care and connection, which is so vital for the stewardship of that land into the future. And also I see it through my own daughter, who went to the forest nursery, obviously, and she knows these paths inside out. And I think that having that sense of connection and knowing that it's your job to look after it is it's a gift, and it's also really important.